There are more than 15,000 MarTech tools available today, and a lot of them are fairly inexpensive SaaS tools that marketing teams can purchase with a credit card and quickly deploy. In the past, that's been a problem. IT organizations are usually tasked with information security. And today, some organizations have data teams that keep tabs on what data is used where throughout the organization. Our guest today says the turf wars of days past have largely faded, and a spirit of collaboration mostly rules these relationships. But the question remains, who's watching the security of your MarTech stack? Welcome to Conversations with MarTech. I'm Mike Pastor, Editorial Director at MarTech, and today I'm joined by Rob Stacey, CRO at Forrit. Rob, why don't you take a couple minutes to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Mike. Great to be here. So I'm Rob Stacey. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at Forrit. We are a secure and scalable content management systems provider, very much focused into the regulated sectors, such as financial services, healthcare, energy utilities, and big gov. I actually started my career back in FMCG about, I'm not going to food disclose, but roughly around 20 years ago. And I was at Kellogg's for 6 to 7 years, working in a combination of sales and marketing functions, mostly marketing. I stayed in FMCG with the next role, but I then moved into telco. So I've had direct telco experience. I moved into retail. I've been abroad, I've been in Microsoft. So I've had a whole range of marketing roles in B2C and B2B. So I guess I've seen the practice in multiple forms. I've seen it evolve. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so alongside my career and obviously wanting to make a success of it, I guess I've been a bit of a crusader as well for the practice. And I think we're in a very interesting time now with the influx of technology. And I think that's something we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, so security and data governance, those have long been part of IT's responsibilities in a lot of organizations, and especially the highly regulated organizations that you mentioned. As marketers increasingly rely on data, though, are they being forced to bring IT into the conversations about their MarTech stack? And how's this shaken out? Is this another turf war, or is there actually strategic collaboration that's going on these days?
Well, I mean, I don't think it should be a turf war by any stretch. I'm sure it is in some companies, but what we're seeing is more collaboration than ever. And I think it has to be this way. As I just said, there's such an influx of technology, not just into marketing, actually across organizations. It is pervasive. There are so many big decisions that get made now around the tech stack. There really has to be that collaboration and convergence. We're seeing this explosion of RevOps currently, which is sales, marketing, customer success coming together. About time. I mean, that's something I was preaching 20 years ago, but I really see that IT will be the next cab off the rank here, and they will be the next addition to RevOps as that evolves. So, it's happening. It's probably not happening as quickly as I would like, but there is a recognition that it needs to happen. I think that's a good thing.
Are marketers more aware of the security risks that are lurking in their MarTech tools than they were maybe 5-10 years ago? And have the regulations around data privacy and compliance increased the vigilance in that area?
Yes, absolutely, Mike. I mean, that's one of the reasons I think in a number of instances, marketers have experienced direct CMS attacks. We did a survey quite recently, over 50% had. So I think a lot have got firsthand experience. And then there's just the wider macro climate raising awareness. Obviously, the likes of M&S, Co-op, Harrods in the news massively at the moment here in the UK with significant cyber attacks taking place in retail. So I just think it's raising awareness. The awareness of security issues is being raised in multiple ways, in multiple levels. And I think if we're going to get sort of really kind of macro about it, I almost think we're entering this age of security. If we were in the digital age for the last 20, 25 years, certainly at a kind of mid to large size organization level, we are entering this sort of phase of more conservatism. Growing the top line is becoming increasingly difficult. So we're entering this phase of cost saving and looking at different angles to deliver that. And then obviously security is the beacon. Not having the right security software protocols inside your organization, will swiftly take you down the wrong path. And as I say, we're seeing that, with events in the news recently and the cost implications of that. So to answer your question, yeah, we are seeing marketers increasingly becoming aware of security and the security risks involved in their tech stack.
You mentioned the digital age that we've been in for a while now. For a big chunk of that time, marketing was sort of free to go out and buy SaaS products that fulfilled all sorts of needs within the marketing organization. How does the IT side feel about the security aspect of all of those applications? And is there a more security conscious approach that IT would prefer marketing takes than going out and buying all the SaaS apps?
I'm first to state SaaS is not a bad thing. And it's absolutely right for a number of organizations. I think, as you allude to there, Mike, it's more the quantity of SaaS products, and suddenly IT are tasked with managing multiple providers. That inherently becomes more difficult operationally. It does increase security risks. You have concerns over disaster recovery, where data is held. So it just starts to open up concerns as the number of SaaS providers increases. That's very much why we lead with a platform as a service solution. So we find that, again, organizations regulated in particular that are mid to large in size prefer the CMS to be built inside their own tenant. So that allows the IT team to exact greater control and alignment to their policies. It also allows them to scale quicker. Now, imagine if you want to stand up a site or a microsite, you raise a ticket, it goes into the SaaS vendor, you go into a queue, you get hit with some hidden costs you weren't budgeting for. All of this can be done in-house and very, very quickly. So as I say, PaaS is not for everyone, but for those large organizations, particularly regulated, we find it gets real traction.
Obviously, there's penalties for failing to comply with all sorts of regulations. There's brand damage when there's an incident like you referred to earlier and there's a data breach. But what are the business advantages of having a secure MarTech stack kind of beyond those penalties?
Funny enough, actually, I did a keynote quite recently called "Security: the Personalization ROI Blind Spot," and that was clearly leveraging a topic in personalization that's probably been the number one sought after goal for marketers the last 2 to 3 years. And actually, I did it with a CTO from a security company, and we talked at length actually about as to why getting security measures in place is important to personalization. And part of it is the big impact, as you described there, Mike. Clearly, if you are hacked and your brand is defamed, that is not going to be a good thing for personalization. But it's smaller things as well, making the customer feel like they are entering a secure website with secure payment gateways, transparent privacy policies, SSL certificates. There are things you can do that makes the customer feel more secure and thereby happier to share personal details and engage in richer personalized experiences. Data fidelity is another one. Again, there's definitely an increasing awareness amongst marketers around bot attacks, and depending on publications you read, there could be up to 40% of your traffic is bots. Now, that has a huge impact, not just only on the personalization experiences you serve up, but also the data fidelity that you share back into the organization. And ultimately, it's also time. It's time saved. So the less time you are worrying or having to deal with cyber attacks, the more time you are spending on positive, rich customer experiences, which is what all marketers want to do.
All right, Rob Stacey, CRO at Forrit. Thanks so much for joining us on Conversations with MarTech.
Thanks, Mike.